Leave it. Put it. ये paper. Correct? That just me. Correct. Link. YouTube link.
It gives me an immense pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the second day of faculty development program on next generation technologies for engineering and interdisciplinary education organized by the Electronic and ICT Academy IIT Guwahati. In association with Mother Teresa Institute of Engineering and Technology, with support of Digital India and Electronic India. Today marks the beginning of the significant academic journey from 16th February to 20th February 2026, where the knowledge from innovation and collaboration will come together under one platform. We are privileged to collaborate with the prestigious IIT Guwahati through its Electronic and ICT Academy initiative. The Academy has been playing a pivotal role in strengthening the technical education across India by empowering faculty members with emerging technologies and advanced research exposure and interdisciplinary knowledge. So, we are very honored to tell about Dr. Priyadashini Ma'am is an assistant professor at senior grade at the Center of Disaster Mitigation and Management, VIT Vellore. Her research centers at environmental health integration, sensor technology, epidemiology and data analytics to examine air pollution, exposure and climatic health linkages, and emphasizes on data-driven public health research. She holds a PhD, principal investigator for VIT funded study on urban antibiotic resistant sciences, MOE, project on avalanche forecasting in Himachal Pradesh. She has published an extensive international journals such as remote sensing of environmental and air quality, atmosphere and health. Her professional honors include being named an Indian Rice Fellow 2026-2027 with Jones Hopkins University, Gupta Institute, Indian Institute, and participating in the Women in Space and Allied Science Leadership Program. She is also a member of International Society for Environment and Epidemiology. Now we invite Dr. Priyadashini Ma'am to address the gathering.
Education system is that someone who can recall better, which means if they have a better memory power, they can score well. Not necessarily they should have a skill. You know, they can memorize well, they can write neatly, then they'll score better. So the assessment, whichever is there in engineering or any education system right now, it gives emphasis towards recall, someone who can remember well, but not in systems integration, who can actually think through the problem. And also faculty. When we are talking about faculty, which is us. So are we also growing along with the students' trend, whatever is there, not in terms of faculty, but in terms of technology? Are we using, like we are using computer, but are we using AI in our classrooms? Are we trying to do something because they should be changed because the entertainment scenario right now also changed. People want very short content please. They will no longer demand longer lectures. Short lectures but better delivery. So are we there somewhere? And one more point is accreditation. When you're talking about accreditation, you have AICTE, you have NRI, then you are going for US ranking. There are many more accreditations, right? So this accreditation pressure is there on colleges. If you need to get accreditation, for that, the colleges are trying to do something, but in reality that is not even existing, right? So, for instance, if you're seeing a lot of engineering colleges, especially CSE, there are a lot of AI related courses, BTech in AI, BTech in cybersecurity, BTech in IoT, etc., etc. But how many of the BTechs who have nearly taken BTech in AI is very confident doing AI? That issue, that kind of mapping, what they are calling mapping is, suppose if I want to learn a skill set, how much I have learned, is there a measure to do that? Just because of accreditation pressure we are doing. So the summary of this slide is whether our curriculum is updated or not. The answer is it's there somewhere, but it's not updated. So what would be the drivers of curriculum? The engineering curriculum is the technological drivers that we should be using AI-enabled research. We should bring more of AI and also automation and data system. I will also be taking in the second or third session about faculty using AI and how AI can actually cut down a lot of time. Whatever monotonous job you are doing, how can we reduce the time? And industry drivers, it should not be only classroom oriented, but after classroom, the sole purpose of the engineering student to do an engineering is to get a job. I agree, everybody wants placement. Even if they are not placed on campus, even off campus, because students are still so our curriculum should be industry driven, that specific student can go and get a job. And real world integration. Whatever is happening in the world and whatever we are teaching, they should go hand in hand. Not like classroom teaching is in a silo, in the sense like it's separate, that we are learning something and in the world something is happening. In world, if you're going just outside this particular place, even some villages are using solar panels and then they are doing automation, they're stopping their pump. They are updated. Are they updated inside a classroom? That's the question. So that should be one of the drivers. And the third one is institutional driver. The institutional driver is whenever we have a pressure, I think humans tend to grow. There should be motivation from within or the external motivation. So accreditation at national and global level becomes a driving point for us to learn something new. And so comes to the topic, your very own topic of this specific faculty development program, which is on next generation technology. Your computer is taking time to give you an output. Your computer is taking time to give you an output. Right now, if you are going to give numbers to your computer with the help of AI is suggesting you something. If you have AI-enabled Excel, what you're going to see is your Excel is suggesting, do you want a pie chart, do you want a bar plot, and do you want to see variable A versus variable B? So high computational intelligence, it can actually calculate much better, can actually give you a lot of other inputs. Psychophysical integration, that is your internet with anything with the reality, then data-driven decision systems. So exclusively when you see outside, when you go to the cities, when you go anywhere, the data-driven systems, based on data, we are able to take some decision. For instance, if you are going to take the admissions of this specific college, if I'm going to give it to AI and say, like for the next 10 years or for the next 5 years, how many students are going to learn, I can actually make a decision on that. Like whether how many students for the past, how the trend has been, is it increasing, is it decreasing, all the trends I can get. And human machine collaboration. So this point also I want to specifically emphasize, it's not that we are just giving data and we are waiting for the machine to do everything. No, the expertise comes from human. So these are next generation technologies and these are going to change the future and give you a new perspective here. For instance, how are we in academic defining a slow learner based on what? Performance, what metrics exactly are we talking here? Marks, exactly the old curriculum versus the new curriculum, we are defining students only by marks. You are making a distribution. Let's assume that you are having your small examination which is for 50 marks, and you are going to plot 0 to 50, how much this student has scored, and you are having a distribution. Distribution is basically telling where the student is there, whether the student has taken 10 marks, 20 marks, 30, 40, 50. So according to us, a high performer is someone who has scored more than 40. You will take the mean distribution of the class. Let's assume 25. 25 is the line exactly dividing the class into performing above average, below average, right? Now, as faculty, how we tend to see is that people who have scored less than 25 or very close to 0, this guy is not at all good, is not capable of doing something, right? But the point here is he may be better than something else. So how many times are we keeping examination? In VIT we have three internals, 2 continuous assessment, closed book, open book, and then a final examination. Right? Now what happens is that in foreign countries there are a lot of continuous assessment. There is no one assessment which is for a longer. Why longer assessments are not good, and how AI will be helpful for that. For instance, if I am going to test a student, maybe that student was sick that particular day, they scored only 10 marks. So according to a faculty, I am going to tag him as slow learner, not good. Can we tag him like that? No. So when we are keeping continuous assessment, now AI is going to take a decision for you. As the student perform continuously, I have kept 10 internal assessment for the student. As the student will perform poor, then the AI is going to take, maybe he is taking 10 courses, the AI is going to check all the 10 courses. Is he performing all the 10 poor? Then maybe possible. So that particular student needs extra support. Now someone who is taking 47, 48, that particular student, the way you are teaching, he needs extra learning. You need to step up for the student. But in a 50-minute lecture, that is not at all possible, because in engineering curriculum, the way it is designed, there is lots of things to take for you, right? You need to take lots and lots of portion. One problem you are going to put it on board 50 minutes, you don't know how to time it. So AI over here is going to help you with that, like to assess the students better. You know, when you are assessing your student better, the interaction between teacher and student also becomes really, really better. Automated format of assessment. This in itself also assessment based on the student capability. You know what? Like everybody can't be a Hussein Bolt and run it less than some seconds, 100 meters. Can we? No, we can't. So can I expect someone to run at the same speed? No. So the assessment which is given to the students also should be according to their level. You can't expect the same from all the students, and that's not even fair. So AI can help with that. Supports data-driven instruction. So based on the performance of the students, based on how we are having our curriculum, it also supports us like how we are supposed to give to the students. Finally, implication. Shifts faculty role towards design. So mostly faculty's time is going towards mentoring, doing a lot of other mentoring in the sense like we have face-to-face teaching in the class. It takes major amount of the time, but rather it should be like growing your student. If you take 20-25 years back, any of the teacher will be remembering 50-60 students' names in the class, and they're very particular about this student is good in this. They are able to recognize. But right now, when we are talking about the faculty-student interaction, that's no longer the same. You all agree with me? You know, 50-60 students in your class. That's the kind of interaction we have. So the point is, when much of the time which is needed for other things is cut down by AI, you can actually concentrate better on your students. So AI can help you with that. Simulation, digital twins, and immersive learning. So what this means is that risk-free experimentation, which is that, okay, I'll give you an example. I work in a center called Disaster Mitigation and Management. We work on disasters. So when we work on disasters, now when the student has to apply a skill relevant to disasters, we take real-time data of what can cause a disaster, what preparedness we are supposed to do, and what prevention, and what kind of response we are supposed to do. That's what we do in disaster management. So for instance, these are all very risky kind of subjects. You agree? Do you have chemical engineering in your college? I don't think so, right? So when you are having chemical engineering or any kind of other you're going to mining or your oil wells or something which is relevant to chemical engineering or something else, we really can't go to such kind of sites. It's very difficult to go for to make students learn in reality. Agree, we can't go to the field. We can't take our students to landslide place because that's very risky. We also don't get living in the other part of Vellore, close to Andhra's full border. Okay, there the concentration must be different. My health impact to the exposure of air pollution will be different. So sensor comes to place. In Bhubaneswar, they placed a lot of sensors, right? That's connected to the Internet of Things. All the data is uploaded to the Google Cloud, and Google, after it goes to the Google Cloud, you have a place to store your data. That's cloud. You also require a lot of cloud to save your data. After the data is saved, there is analytics part. So this analytics part highlights which portion of the city is higher in pollution. So now, when I see a picture like that, let me assume this class is a map. If sitting in a room through a computer, I can see that part of the city has high pollution because of traffic. I exactly know what I am supposed to control, the traffic because of traffic. In our study, what we saw was the whole highway lake was red in color, which means concentration was really high. So the warning which is given to the people, there are two types of mitigation measures what we can take. One is at the individual level, one is at the city level. So individual level is people who are living very close to the highways, you are supposed to take a stand. You are supposed to protect yourself from air pollution. Either don't build house very close. Now they can't do that, but what they can protect is that clean your house. There are certain things what they can do. At city level, using sensor technology, what we could also see is that is the preparation and prevention seasonal. See, when I'm talking seasonal, we don't have winter in southern part of India. When you take northern part of India, air pollution gets very worse in winter. So before that, they do a lot of measures in Delhi. They take odd even rule is there. Then graded action plan is there. They are not letting digital generators go. That lot of things are there. So if you have sensors and data from the sensors can actually let you take decisions. Not only in terms of air pollution, it can be anything. For example, a farmer who is utilizing water. How much of, if you have a sensor, if you are integrating sensor for the water and the plant growth, you can know exactly how much water the plant requires. You can give water efficiency, energy efficiency, money, time, etc. You know, a person, if you do not know the magnitude of the problem, you can't solve the problem. So the magnitude here is your data. In today's world, the person who is having a lot of data is key. The person who breached our Aadhaar card information is basically very rich because he's having a lot of phone numbers, he's having a lot of things. So data, you have sensor technology, your data analytics. Are you clear with the example what I did? Okay. Real-time engineering data. If you're trying to test the efficiency of a car, earlier time there is a person manually checking, okay, what is the speed of the car? They do a speed test, right? They bump the car at high speed and check until what point the car is sustaining the basic speed test, everything, right? But now in real time, you no longer want to break a car, you can actually make a and duplicate version of it virtually and try to test it. Exact characteristics you can give to the car and you can test it without a damage. Possible, right? Multidisciplinary curriculum is so now in this case, I am from environmental engineering. I do not know a thing of sensors. I'm not an electrical or electronics person. But still, if I can go to a YouTube video with the help of AI, I can actually connect sensors, I can write the code, get the data from the sensor. So multidisciplinary engineering is nowadays everybody, they can't just go like a horse with side mask. They have to be multidisciplinary, trying to learn other things as well. And essentially one of the things, not necessarily that I am an environmental engineering person, I need to know about health, I am going to learn everything what a doctor knows, epidemiology. I just started into that. But rather, the kind of efficiency of skill one should have is learning AI. That's my emphasis here. Industry linked problem solving, not like giving usual engineering problems at the classroom, but rather try to give what engineering industries are facing problems. So what possibly you will do for that? How can we know what kind of problems engineering industries are having? Don't mind, I'm considering this exactly like my class. I'll ask someone from the last bench. Okay. So I think the class will be interactive. So industry-related problem solving. So what do you think? How would you know problems? What industries are facing? Anybody from the last 3 rows? You can tell it slowly. I can be loud enough in the mic if you're still shy. Yeah. So anybody from the last row? How can we know what problems industries are facing?
For example, for mechanical field,
Okay.
suppose I am in a production layer, suppose these machines may get a maintenance. So at that time, predictive maintenance, again you go for predictive maintenance, using the same tools.
So I'll reframe my question. I'm not asking anything about AI or something. I'm asking a simple question of how will you as faculty know what problem industries are facing? How will you know what? So let me do a survey of this class. How many of you from computer science? Okay, there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many from electrical, electronics? Okay, there are mechanical. Only one person from mechanical. So other engineering, what other engineering is there? CSE is there, right? Civil engineering? Civil engineering, how many people? One person is there. So let me start with civil classification. So if you want to know about problems which are there in civil related industries, how will you know it? That's my question. How will you know what problem what kind of industries there are in civil? Any industry that comes to mind?
Structural design.
Structural. Sir, I'm asking if you can recall one industry relevant to civil, what is that industry? L&D can. I'm asking like that. Any other industries which comes to mind? So I will read the question to you. Now I'm talking about civil engineering. So I'm tagging one industry to civil engineering like L&D because that's what came to my mind, right? So if I want to know what kind of problem L&D is facing, how will I know it? I need to listen to industries. I can't sit here and keep teaching, right? See, if I need to get advanced, see, it is a subjective matter. And also gender is also inside that. Because women are more emotionally loaded than men. Okay? I think that. What happens is that if you are not going to meet your industrial partner, maybe in this area not having many industries. But if you have a friend from your engineering batch who is working in an industrial company relevant to your subject, to your friend if you are talking, will you get to know that there are some problem in industries? You know, this is where we are losing, this is what the company is expecting to see. Okay, on Saturday we conducted a workshop on 3D printing. I'm bringing this example because no longer they have shifted to traditional construction to 3D printing. They are giving a design and then it's printing. There's no bricks needed. So, if I don't go to industries, now when we are conducting this workshop, the industrial person also comes. Yeah, we are interested into what you are teaching. We also want to, sponsor or we want to learn. So, if you want to know what kind of problems are existing in your industries, relevant to your course, no longer stick to academics, just teaching theory and theory and theory. That is not going to be. You have a job. If you need or if you wish your students to have a job, you as a bridge, as Sir rightly pointed, you are the bridge between the outside placement, which can be industry, which can be academia, or which can be. Some students can go entrepreneurs, okay, they are just doing a degree for me, they leave them, but someone who wants the job, they exactly want to know what the job market wants, for that you should visit industry as a package. Even if you can't visit, you should grow your network to know what the industry actually wants. Otherwise, still you will be taking the same old concept of connect A with B, that is what boring lecture the professor is teaching. You give a relevant example, the student will be listening to you. Okay? So the point here is IoT is physical system. I can deviate it, but these are the things which you are supposed to do. Right? Then technology pedagogy assessment alignment framework. So our teaching should align with technology, not align with technology. You should always be updated with the current technology. That is the first point. And assessment must measure application. What kind of application students are able to do? No longer written. See, whenever we are having practice, you need theory courses. Theory courses are there for basics. It's a 3 credit course. You have a 3 class per week. They are there to learn the basics of the course. But if your course is theory plus practical, you ensure that the student is able to do what you assign him to do. If there is a student in chemistry lab and if he has to test the pH of the water, he at least has to know which equipment he is supposed to take and what is the scale on pH 7 means, 14 means, 8 means. This is very basic. Very basic. The student must know the application. Why am I taking the pH meter? Because I want to, kind of measure the potential hydrogen influence of water. Water means less than 7 acidic water. Can I drink it? I can't drink it. If it is alkaline, can it be used in industry? No. Not only the number, memorizing the number and writing and getting facts right, that is no longer the education. The student must know what it is useful for, right? Assessment must measure application. That's what I reiterated now. Outcomes must be measurable and industry relevant. No longer that outdated teaching things, but rather measuring what is relevant for industries. Reform is structural, not cosmetic. What it means is that as an individual teacher, doing is, it can be done, but however, it has to be done on institutional level. It has to be built, not like, just like that, most of the times when accreditation comes, most of the institutes, there are some institutes in country which do not need accreditation because the brand speaks for themselves. You have premier institutions, right? No matter if a person comes from a premier institution, it is the default while the brand speaks for itself. That person is from this premier institution. But rest of them, what they are doing, accreditation members are coming, take care of them properly. Because what if they are not considering what is there in the college, what the students are doing, but rather treat the person better. My accreditation will be better. So it's not cosmetic that you're trying to do something, but actually on ground something should be there. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So applying the framework to curriculum design. So define measurable graduate competencies, which means if you are from civil or like electrical, mechanical, computer science, you as a faculty are supposed to know at the end of the course what kind of skills that particular person will get. If he is from environmental engineering, he will be able to define all the pollution level, measure all the pollution level. He knows what is the impact of it. He knows how to control, because it's engineering. He must be knowing how to do the control strategies. He must be knowing how to design this, design that. At least that he must be knowing. Then only he is an environmental engineering person. Otherwise, what is the difference between an engineering graduate and a normal person? Anybody who is having a mobile will be able to do that. Correct or not? So, define measurable graduate competencies at the end of the program, what this person knows, and that from teachers only it will get translated to students. As I said, in between at the initial stage of my lecture, slow learners, then there is a middle batch, and then there is high skill learners. High skill learners, no problem. You don't have to teach him. He himself is motivated, he will do that. But your more attention is not needed for slow learners. So you need to read. For then you should know what are competencies to translate that to students, right? Redesign assessment for systems thinking. Systems thinking is actually what is existing in reality. So for that reality, what kind of assessment is needed? Not really. Memorization technique is not going to help, but rather for industry this is needed. Can the student able to do this or not? I'm going to assess him based on that. Most of the students in class, they may be very lazy to write. The handwriting is not good. Memorization technique is not really good. But practically, some students are really sound, very sound. They are able to do this practical very good. Because those kind of students don't want boring lectures. They are aligned towards practical. We are supposed to identify those kind of students and then give assessment accordingly. The student is very good. Give the project oriented with that. Even not good in theory, but give him that. That was a problem at the time of the faculty teaching in interdisciplinary. But when we do that, then the real outcomes get translated from classroom to reality. Integrate technology purpose to the you're showing a video in the classroom and then you're telling to students. Students are not interested in that. I can simply see the video in my home. Why I have to spend? Reality is that if you're being very friendly with your students, what you're going to see is that your students are saying, or at the end of the class is like, what is this professor? This professor is showing a video. What is he giving a boring lecture? I can see a better lecture from MIT or Harvard or from anywhere. Free. If I have 4 GB data, I can see that. Why can I do that, right? So, technology purposefully is that what is relevant to the student, not too much, not too less. So, you know your class. Not like tomorrow, today I attended this lecture and tomorrow everything I will give AI. Then we like, what happened to this professor? Yesterday was fine. Did he fall somewhere? So step by step and then go ahead. Basics, very strong, and then step up. Mark changes to program outcomes, which is like ultimately in engineering, right? I think if you are a part of application, actually I am a part of application. Because I belong to the research center, we have more of research, less of teaching. But people who are back to school, right? They are going for MBA accreditation at DIT. So they are sitting and doing a lot of documentation. Course outcomes, they are mapping course outcomes, then they are mapping that to program outcomes. Now, if I ask the questions, we are very well told in our, at every class that before the class they are supposed to tell the course outcomes, objectives and course outcomes, what they will learn, what they will achieve, right? But when you go for engineering, not the learner. Here the learner is giving some certain amount. Even the learner is not motivated, not the teacher. Then what happens to learning? Learning is a continuous process. So, earlier time learning is that you don't know something, you are learning something. After that you know that that's what learning is. But at this point in 2026, the point is you will unlearn as well. Sometimes what you learn may be wrong. You want to also test yourself what I learned is not at all, it's not relevant at all. I am going to unlearn, I don't want that, I'm going to learn it and then I move forward. Right? So math changes to program outcomes is that in your engineering course outcomes are there, program outcomes are there. If you go and read your department documents, these all things will be there. See, I'm not saying you take in AI, you use next generation technology, but align it with course outcomes and program outcomes. Without that, what will happen is that this guy will be like, we came to engineering, what these people are doing. Something is written because some advertisement is there, something is here and something is going. Everything is going coherence, which means hand in hand, go together. Okay. So course redesign example, like integrate AI like defect module. Already your modules are existing. Maybe in after class I will try to show you how to, if you have course syllabus, I will try to upload in AI and I will also tell you how can you teach, how can you, map, or how can you structure your lectures, or upload your PPT in case if you have an ask AI, what is missing in this? But not always listen to AI. You cannot, your judgment is also important. Use industry data sets, then only when the person goes, right? It is like your maths class. You're taught all simple sums in the class, and then suddenly you have a really huge big problem in the class. Students are like, what this teacher taught in class and what she's giving in the examination. So not like that. Use industrial data sets. These days when you go on GitHub, when you go on lot of data, you have a lot of data there. Train the students with industrial data sets. So when they graduate and go out, it's easier for them to transition. Not that again they are getting into industries, again they have a probationary period, learning everything. What's the use of engineering here? So you have to bridge that gap. Project-based evaluation. If you have a project, BTech third year project, BTech fourth year project, what we essentially do is that we have a program outcome. Have you heard of this technology readiness level? How many of you heard of this class, technology readiness level? TR, technology readiness. How many of you heard? One person, 2 persons. Okay. When we are going for patent, we see this technology readiness level. So what this technology readiness level says is that, let me simply put you, let me keep it like on a scale of 1 to 10 or something like that. Closer to 10 means directly it can go and get implemented in industry. If the connecting this light will glow. That's the project the student has done. Or a motion sensor, I'll take my hand, this particular thing will open. But whether it will, if I the same thing, okay, I'll give you a real example. Okay, the student identifies a problem first. The problem is there is an unmanned railway track where the gate is there and people when they are crossing they are meeting with accident. So he wants to have a gate which automatically closes and opens. So this is the concept. So he will take some kind of doll near to the gate, motion sensor will be there, so the gate will open or close. This is the simple concept, right? So small things he's using in lab is trying to do it. If he is going to put it in reality there will be a lot of challenges because it's based on electronics. There will be suddenly rain, sensor is not working, but in lab he never did that at all. So technology readiness level is tested in lab, then going to reality. So the more it gets, okay, in industry also we have tested, then we validated against a proper thing, it works, then the readiness level is better, that it can get us a product into a market. So the point here is outcome should be mapped. Your project based evaluation, your project should be better. Identify real-time problem. Don't go with the old problem, same thing. I'll connect a positive and negative, this will happen, light will burn. No, old, very outdated. Give to your students new problems, then only they can think. You should be an enabler for the student to think. Sometimes the student can be beyond us also. As a teacher, you need to accept that. They can be beyond you. They can be telling concepts that you do not even know. But it's okay to say that I do not know that, but I'll help you, I'll guide you. Whatever is required, I'll be an enabler. I will try to network, I'll put you there. That, right? Project-based evaluation. Outcome map assessment rubric, that is like whatever you are giving, please check on your course outcomes, not deviating from that. That's what it is. So, how much time have I got? Bias in Indian higher education. See, till now, I've been saying a lot, and I also see some are listening, partially listening, some are active listeners. Now let's come to reality. The reality is what is existing in higher education institutes of India. Now you are coming from one institute where this is there. Sir, you are coming from IIT. Sir, you are coming from NIT. Sir, you are coming from such a big private institute which has a lot of money and funding. Right? The reality is funding constraint. Now I told you something that this could be done, that could be done. Now there is no facility here. What will I do? There is no facility. What will I do? But what can you do is there are a lot of AI things which is relevant. So you as a like a teacher, if you put extra effort, you can actually design better projects for your class. If you can't, you can use AI to help you out. But you need to sit and you need to do that. Yeah, I don't have to clearly tell you AI and also I will teach you how to make prompts. If you prompts that these are my constraints, I don't have this. But I have internet connectivity, I have this, I have basic things like this. Can I give projects to my students? What kind of projects I can give? You give that projects. See, not everybody who has achieved success or who is doing great at all come from great places. Some are had very hardest part and their lessons are being the greatest. So you can't constrain yourself that I am from this place, in any place you are, no matter what brand you are, no. It can be any IIT, NIT, still you will have, I don't have this one, I don't have is always constant. So funding is a constraint, that is true. Faculty resistance. One of the greatest problems. So faculty resistance is that the faculty does not want to learn new. See, when I say this, you will be like, how can you say like that? They are ready to learn, but we are loaded. Are you really loaded? Why are you loaded? The point is, if you do not, as I said in this lecture, if you do not know your date of what you are doing in your entire day, right? You will not know where you are wasting time. If you know what you are doing in your entire day, see, I am a very mood-dependent person most of the time. If I don't have mood, I am not sitting and working. But when I have mood, I am very efficient. I can finish it. I can sit whole night without sleeping. I can do that. But I have that awareness of when I can do, what I can do, right? So, the resistance of the faculty not willing to adapt to new technologies is not a loss for the faculty but for the student that you are supposed to see. When we have come for teaching and your developmental programs are designed for you to learn to, if you know already, well and good. If you do not know, you are supposed to learn here. Why are you learning? You are not learning for you to get a certificate to go and show to the, to the institute that, yeah, I learned a lot of subjects. At this point, when you are already having a career, what is the certificate matter to you? It's a piece of paper. True or not? I can have 100 plus certificates with me. I might have a lot of certificates from school. I don't even know what the certificates are for. It is the credit for having a skill. So in this faculty development program for 5 days, you must have got a skill. So they are appreciating and giving you a appreciation at that point. But the reality order is supposed to take a skill. So please remember that when you are here to learn, you are not compromising your skill, you are compromising the skill of your students who actually want to learn and they have paid for the service. Correct? When they pay for the service, we are here to render that to the students. So we cannot be resistant. We can be resistant because of n number of reasons, but when it comes to professionalism, you can't be always resistant. Suppose if we are resistant, what happens is that AI is replacing us. That's the answer. Okay? Digital infrastructure, yeah, of course not many colleges have even computers, computer connections and everything would be there. But resources, if there is a person who is really wanting to learn, resources not at all a constraint for the person. We are a great example of that. 20-25 years back, we never had a computer system. We tried to learn, we are here. Did we have one-on-one computer? Did I have an updated laptop like this 20 years back? Never. Did my father have a laptop or system? Never ever. We don't even know what is that. But I am here. You are here. We are all here. So, resource constraint is always there, but time is what we are supposed to play around. How can I allocate this resource? So, essentially, we faculty also have to be managers. Now you can say like he is cross 12, so he's on his own, he's adult, he's not listening to me, I'm not going to do that. Once we were also in that stage, we were exactly like them. When the teacher is teaching, we are just eating something or sleeping in class. I was also a student like that. Everybody was a student like that. So we should be enablers. Resource can be a constraint, but what you have, are the students very, very aware of whatever you are having? They know the best of the ma'am. We have this system and they know everything. Are you sure about that? That's what I'm asking for. Administrative rigidity. So I thought from just a 5 minutes conversation with her. She said that we all have holiday today, right? And holiday today to have your every day. I'm not saying holiday to enjoy at home, but to sit here and listen to my lecture. So your administration is not rigid, but rather enabling for you to learn something. At my institute also, it is mandated that we are supposed to attend faculty development programs. Continuously, it's always running. Whenever we are having examination, faculty development programs are running. There are people coming, you're learning and you're learning and learning. This is continuously there. Sometimes a lot of institutes is not appreciative of that. But irrespective of that, whenever I've gone for workshops, I make a special mention to tell that I met your ma'am in one of the leadership programs. That's why I'm here. We met in Kolkata back then. So, learning irrespective of age is something which people should have and administration also supposed to do. So, it's not that an administration is not giving, I'm not going to do that. It can't be like that. You must be having some vacation, you must be having certain things, but it is your motivation. So, being something is subjective term, whether you want to do it or not. But please remember that it's not you, but your students and your students' life. Okay. So, risk mitigation and institutional readiness, monitoring mechanisms. So, at administration level, of course, you have some certain committees to check what's going somewhere, what's not fine. Bias is something deviating from what has to be normal, right? Then monitoring should be there. Academic integrity protocols. So, okay, we can use AI, but not make everything by AI. Maybe you can use some draft an email, all these things you can use there. Not like you go and give an important document of your administration into AI and ask something. Can you do that? That means you're compromising the integrity protocol of your administration. Maybe you can ask an example of a certain thing to them, not compromise integrity of your particular institution. That also needs to be taken into consideration. Data privacy safeguards. See, whatever you are putting it on AI, please remember our data is always there online. So now someone will say, that's why I don't use AI. One of my, I think I've heard this. Someone said that, so I don't edit my picture by AI, okay? I don't use AI. My kid's picture will be on AI. You don't have to do that. If I upload, it's there on AI. You necessarily don't have to put it in AI. Someone puts your picture into AI, it's on the cloud. It's there. So, data privacy safeguard is that you as a person, you should also know what sensitive information you are trying to put out there. You really don't care about the sensitive information, very good. But if you are a sensitive person about that, you need to be really careful about what you are letting out. And specifically, professional related privacy things are not supposed to be put on that layer. Never, ever. Okay? Face financial planning. So, I'm talking about institutions. So, when institution wants to step up, it doesn't happen at free of cost. See, if someone wants to have AI integrated lab and other things, essentially they also have to invest a lot of money. That's what financial thinking means. So, mitigation means what could be done to prevent a lot of integration, all these monitoring, integrity, privacy and everything. If you are not sensitizing the faculty about it, faculty would not know. Faculty will know if they are updated. See, a faculty can have a PhD, a faculty come from a very big brand, but still not knowing a lot of things. You can't blame them because their point of view could be certain things of what they are exposed to. Maybe the faculty is old. There are old faculty who are updated in AI. There are new faculty who are young enough but doesn't know anything about AI. Right? So the institution has to sensitize that to faculty that these things are there. Why they are doing it to you? Because tomorrow when something goes bad, you can't say that I don't know about it. Can you say that? You can't say that because they already gave awareness to you on all those things, right? So these things, financial awareness and all these things, institution has to do. So roadmap from pilot to institutional integration is that start pilot courses, not like engineering tomorrow going to change the BTech in AI, BTech in whatever BTech with slowly start up with one elective course, not the major core course, then start implementing slowly, see how that works. It's like a pilot. Why it is pilot? Pilot is just like a step up before you are stepping up to the actual full run model. You're trying to run it and then stepping up. So try how it's going in your college. So many students are interested. Are you seeing so many people are coming to get the course? Then float 3 or 4 courses. Then you can have an entire curriculum of BTech and AI related. So you have similar AI as well. You have a lot of AI related courses, right? Evaluate outcome systematically. Have a proper mapping system to evaluate what is there. Build sustained faculty capability. Not like today I have trained all of you. Some are like 20% are above today they got. Then I should train another 20%. They should continuously learn. Faculty should have the capacity first of all. Not that even also your faculty doesn't know, then what happens? You yourself are making the bridge longer. Scale institutions by after validation. That's what. Once you've done the pilot and you see that everything is very good, you step up across the institution, everything really good. So that's all. I've finished my first session. So the summary of my first session is I have put or given you a picture of AI has taken over the world. And there is a lot of bridge between academic and what industry wants. If you want to know what industry wants, you need to network to industry or keep in contact with make MOU with industries, make industries come. You can't constrain yourself saying that I am from this particular place. You can even have an online meeting. That is a possible way today. Like exchange student internship to certain industries. Students are also involved. Have projects which is relevant to technology, small scale projects, then step up. Then you can also send your students outside. Then continuous faculty capacity building programs. Then institutional administration also has to give a support. But first of all, the key summary of this session is you are supposed to be willing to learn. If you are resistant, then there's not going to be any change. You're not resisting your growth, but you're resisting the growth of your students. That's it for session 1. If you have any questions, I'm willing to take up your questions. So possibly, not possibly, we'll be having hands-on in the next session. So it's not going to be much theoretical. And one of the important things in your particular class, in all our classes, we should encourage students to ask any kind of question. They should have that kind of relationship with you, that you can't disregard a student present. That's very true. You don't even know that. Doesn't mean you can ask any question. Because this question can trigger a thinking neuron in someone else's brain. Okay? So that being said, you are my students in this session. I want you to ask a question to me. Are you on the same page in session 1 of what I have given till now? That's theoretical, I know that. But one liner is, AI is the need of the hour. You should update. So do you have any questions? Let's go. Okay, let me go towards that corner of the classroom. I really have to. I wish the classroom was so someone from there can ask a question from the session, or it can be beyond the session, also it can be general questions. Do you have any questions, sir? I'm a very nosy teacher in class. I wish to offer my classes. Do you have any questions, sir? Anybody from this row? Because there's someone. Anybody from this row, please. Locus? He's absent. It can be anything. You don't have to hesitate. The greatest attitude of learning is never ever think who thinks what about you. Otherwise, you won't learn. Anybody from this row, do you have any questions? So at this point, we have completed session 1, which means you have to tolerate me for 3 more sessions, okay? 2 hands-on and again, and last one is really theoretical. By the end of the day, I don't know how much of energy I'll be having. But still, how was the phase of this session? Are you able to follow? Or my phase was really, am I fast? Are you able to follow? Because given your opinion, that's how I can streamline the rest of my sessions. Possible. It is possible. See, if you're having a lot of okay, the simplest way for the question what sir asked was if we can make student assessment via AI. Now, the first question what I will be asking is what kind of facility you have. Okay? We all have Google Forms. Do you have Google Forms? Yes. Can I take a quiz via Google Form? Yes. Can I keep 6, 7 quizzes in class? After every single class, I'll keep a quiz even for 5 marks, it's okay. I will have it, right? After 5 quizzes, if I give the marks of the entire student to AI, this student can you plot the entire distribution of this class? Who has always performed not so good? Who is in the middle range? Who has always performed better? So I will support the students who has always performed better. So now, the integration of AI into institutional systems only people who have had so much of money and this and that. People when they talk in my class at a point of and ask questions, I don't even mind. In respect of whosoever the student is. Right? So the point is what kind of facility we have and how can we do, whatever we have little bit of exercise here and there, we give the marks to AI. And also you can design some extra things to the student. You can give extra sheets for the student, ask them specifically see. Sometimes, as a human beyond AI, you also can ask the student what exactly, are they facing some difficulty in learning? Are they not able to follow in your class? Or what is the problem? Maybe the student has a lot of problem at home, unable to concentrate. What really is that? Can you be of any help to the student? And then you see the student has picked up or not. That is non-AI part. The AI part is yes, you can give the data to AI and ask them. Okay, sir, do you have any specific questions or not? The fourth row, four persons. I really want you to ask a question to me now. Sir, I was more notorious in class than you. I was most of the classes. I know exactly how is that. I want one question from you that you've been discussing sincerely. So, are you having any kind of other commitment that you are able to listen, or I want a question from your bench? No, we're discussing. I don't know if it's of lecture or not lecture. If it is of lecture, I want that directed towards me. If it is non-lecture, then that's also fine with me. Because I'm going to teach you certain things where you can cut down a lot of, not a lot, but at least a certain part of your time into, you can use AI and you can cut down time and you can give better quizzes or assessment to students and other things. So any more questions, random questions, silly questions, any questions? There's no silly questions, there's no questions. Okay, MBA has a lot of case studies, right? Now, when it comes to a lot of case studies, you have a preferred textbook and you are only referring to the case studies. Students are learning that case studies. This is coming from the question is coming from outside. Okay, fine. So, for instance, if you want any other, see, you are training your students only to that case study. A person did this, B person did this, and this is the challenge which is arising. Now, what will this person do? Right? But what you are trying to generate similar kind of case studies, are trying to give different case studies to different person. Now, when you capture different kind of assignments in the classroom, copying is less. They have to work on their own. You can generate 10 different assignments for 10 different students, 70 different assignments. You don't have to sit and work. I can, with one prompt help, see this is the example of a case scenario taken for this particular course. Can you generate this kind of 70 scenarios for me? Give to 70 students, let them solve it. Possible. Case studies in MBA. And in MBA, sustainability has taken a big deal in MBA, ESG, environment, social governance. A lot of which is not in different kind of colleges, but these kind of things you can have like a seminar, an invited or something like that. That also MBA students can be given to, because environment is given a lot of importance and environmental management has become a bigger part. All these things, AI can be used anywhere, irrespective of MBA, BCom, arts, music, whichever anything, there is AI's role. Okay, but some are relevant, some are not relevant. For example, if it's a problematic subject, we are giving some questions, some big ones, they are giving some shorter answers. How to guide them to exact answers? Then they are using some AI. How to guide them to correct answers? Okay. This is an excellent thing what we also face. That is, I think open-ended questions, which means the student is able to, as I said earlier, I was a disaster management, so I asked them, you choose whichever disaster you want, and you are going to design a product or a patent or something. Now, student goes to ChatGPT, right? First, the point what it comes is that the student assumes whatever ChatGPT teaches correctly, but that's not true. We are also going to explore that in the third session. The point is, the student should use AI as a enabling tool, not completely depend upon AI. See, when we are giving a ChatGPT answer, right? When you already, if you are continuously teaching 3-4 classes, or maybe if you are going to teach an entire day, I know which of you are constantly talking, which of you are really bored, which of you are something I know about this class. Because that kind of characteristics teachers should have psychologically to hold students, right? But when you see a student was never performed in exam, suddenly bring super assignment. You know he has not done it, right? Ask him to give proper explanations on his own, or even you can use an AI prompt that no answers are there in ChatGPT. See, I keep online quiz. Now, what is the challenge in online quizzes? They'll open ChatGPT, try to copy it. Now, what I will do in Google quizzes, I paste pictures. They can't copy that. See, I paste pictures, or I will paste certain things. They can't go to another tab or something, but that requires an extra thing. But in this case, what I will do is, if I have really a lot of time, I will paste all my questions over there. They can't copy and paste in their ChatGPT answers, or make the questions harder, give them reference books, or tell them to write how they came to the conclusion by pen. See, when you're writing from ChatGPT, there are certain instances where you can find that they're taken from ChatGPT. For instance, long dash, that's called as an M dash. A bigger dash will be there, right? Then colons, semicolons, proper commas, everything. You can actually know that's from ChatGPT. ChatGPT answers are like straightforward, like active versus passive voice. If you see human, right? When I'm very good at English, I can use alternative sentences in the sense like one short sentence, then a long sentence, then a medium sentence like that. But when you're seeing ChatGPT generated answers, it's going to be straightforward. This guy went here, got this. Then he did that. Then he came here and he finished it. Proper sentences. As a teacher, you're supposed to identify. I used to keep up development. So what I do, before I evaluate students, I put all the assignments into Turnitin. You have automated to Turnitin as well. A certain part of it is B. You put all their assignments to some kind of checking thing. So it checks that entire thing is Turnitin, gives 0. I mean, give completely 0. So the student is aware that you can't completely use AI. You can use AI for that, but not completely copy paste. Possible. See, when we are taking, see the point is, at this point when technology has gone forward, you can't completely neglect that no, you can't use AI at all. But even when you're copy pasting from AI, the student has to have some effort. I see students completely, they don't even know. See, at our stage, we used to go to extra computer center to learn Microsoft, PowerPoint, Excel, all these things. We know how to format. In the sense, if I am taking my PPT, I want the spacing to be proper, alignment should be. Nowadays, students doesn't even know that. Copy pasting from PPT, there are lines in between. To directly pass it and give a 0, the student knows that I can't do it. At least put extra, but you can take help from AI. But if you're too lazy, then you don't deserve that marks. See, as a teacher, as an evaluator, it is your stand to take that I don't accept this. Or ask 2 questions to the student. Ask the student to present. See, when they are submitting assignments, the quick checklist, if you are asking them to present, there are 2 things which can happen. One thing is enabling the skill of the student to present in front of the audience without fear. Second thing is you will really know whether they did it or not. They won't be able to answer. Gone. So they know that they are supposed to put extra. See, there are millions of ways for a teacher to do a different things. Even as a early, I've been teaching for 6.5 years, and I've taught different. I taught northern part of India and south. So BIB has a huge mix of lot many people from different part of India. I've been teaching 6 semesters at BIB. No 2 semesters are same. I can't use the same technique to 2 batches. So you also have to see when you have interaction in class, when you ask questions, you can then only read the mind of your student. You need to put that extra effort. Otherwise, you are not really going to know. Otherwise, people will be, you put effort, they'll put effort. See, there are some worst case scenarios where they won't do irrespective of whatever, but you don't have to worry about them because that's their choice, they are there. But you are here for someone who really wanted to learn, for that your effort is also needed, some effort. So sir is asking for a break, so we'll meet after the break for session 2. So session 2 is on AI for research flows and knowledge discoveries. I'm very excited to take about research, but I'm going to also modulate it. How can you use it class? I'm going to take different reactions for activities. We'll meet in a second session.
பேட்டரி மட்டும் பேக்கப் இருக்காது. Larissa. Jadi, sudah tahu set L.
Quota factory. Quota factory. Google Classroom.
గూగుల్ క్లాస్ లేదు. దాని తర్వాత సపరేట్ డేమో మెటీరియల్ పెట్టారు. దాని తర్వాత ఇంకో సైట్ నేను డైరెక్ట్ వచ్చేది ఏసీటీ అకాడమీ ఏంటి గౌరవతీనా మాకు నేను అడ్వాన్స్ చేయలేదు.
How excited are you for this session? How's the energy level of the students?
Yeah, fine.
I don't get it fine. Please, how's the energy level of the students? That's it? That's the energy level? Okay, whatever. So, we are going to start the second session. The second session is on artificial intelligence tools for research flow and knowledge discovery. Though this particular session is oriented towards research, that's how the contents are over here. The contents are, I'm going to talk about how are you going to take an idea and make the idea better, because anytime you are doing a research or anytime you are giving problem statement to the student, how are you going to do that? How are you going to generate keywords? If you already know what keywords are, that is great. If you do not know what a keyword is, I am going to teach you what a keyword is, what is the importance of choosing a keyword, and I am also going to talk about Boolean strategy. I am also going to talk about AI-powered literature discovery. So here at this point, I am also going to teach you two free tools which are available, which can be useful for your research. Suppose you cannot be interested too much in your research, then I can change this particular topic a bit. Knowledge organization and note taking after all the literature review, how we are able to organize all those knowledge, right? Followed by data collection analytical methods, what we can use, what kind of insights we are getting, how can we draft, how can we edit, how can we visualize. Finally, what we, for all these specific set of tasks, we are going to use AI. So in the final validation, ethics and AI citation, I am going to tell you or give you examples of what you have taken is right or wrong, can be depend on AI or not. So this is the flow of the entire talk. So in between, I skip up to certain AI tools, right? So that would be a hands-on for you. So let's start the session. So until this point, research flow has been the same. The point where you are generating an idea, you are researching about the idea, you are collecting evidence about that idea, you are summarizing about the idea, you write about your idea, how you executed that idea, you are writing theory, you are having graphs, and finally you are validating what you have done. This has been the research flow, but there is a slight change in the specific research flow where we are introducing AI over here. How? AI has actually made our lives easier. I should say that specifically because I use AI a lot. Until a point I was using AI a lot, and then I took a break, and then I started using AI differently, which also I tell to my students how you are supposed to use AI. Now, in the first place, I am going to teach you some basic, only then we are going to step up to AI. So without this one, getting directly to your AI related tools is not going to be beneficial. So I request you to listen. So your part B comes, someone else have done the same thing, but I am giving better solution than them. So your main motto of this is, are you adding new knowledge or are you enhancing the knowledge? This is the basic reality of research. Research is not complicated at all. Anybody can do research. One has a mind to think. What is the problem I am going to solve? For that, we need this funnel type of an approach. What is the funnel type of an approach is that you have broad research interest. So At this point, if you all have a notepad or some piece of paper, I want you to write your research topic there, any research topic, it can be anything. What is your research interest? It can be one word, it can be two words, it can be multiple words. Can you write? Because this is going to be helpful for our answer. Please write. Broad research interest. Now, in the specific slides, since I work on air pollution, I am going to say my broad research area is air pollution. You understood? Now, exploratory keywords. Now, how will I search air pollution? Will I get air pollution directly? Will I get all the research material? Will I get all the research material? Yes or no? Because I want to get your understanding. Then I can go to the next slide. If I just put air pollution, do you think I am going to get all the materials out there on air pollution?
No.
Will I get? No. Maybe, may not be, possibly yes. See, the point is, when I am going to put air pollution out there, I might get all the documents, but my documents may not be in the first page. The very great document may not be in the first page. It can be there somewhere in the 10th page on Google, right? So that is why keywords are important. How many of you know Tamil in this particular class? Okay, there are a few people who know Tamil. Okay. You have seen the movie, right? Vijay's movie where this comedy will be there. He'll be telling to the child that if you tell to a buffalo go, will the buffalo go? You have to talk to the buffalo in the language which the buffalo understands. Now, here your buffalo is your search engine. Your search engine is Google. Your search engine can be any AI. Can you speak your own language to AI? Possibly yes. Now technology has become that far. But if you try to speak in language which that engine knows better, it's much better. It is going to give you much better results. That's why keywords are important. Initial literature scan. I have identified my topic as air pollution. And under air pollution also I can have different keywords. PM 2.5 is there, PM 10 is there, ozone is there, this is there, that is there. Those are my keywords. After putting that on Google, I am just going to skim through it, which means I am just going to do a random Google search and I am going to check what kind of documents I am getting. Is it relevant? Okay. What all people have done? Then I try to find out a specific topic. So in the initial years, until from 2023, I have been interested in a specific research question, which needs a lot of, not really funding, a lot of other things required for that. I am really interested into exploring how air pollution affects pregnant women. I have done a literature review on that, right? And this is one of the very less explored topics in India. If I try to search papers, right, I won't even get 10 papers online. Very less people have searched. Now, I am an air pollution expert, I know this part. But am I a doctor? I am not a doctor. I do not know much of things. I need to learn a lot of medical things. Right? Now, when I see a lot of topic on air pollution, I need to choose one thing. I need to brainstorm. Why you want to do this topic? Is this well researched or is it new? Or what is already existing? Am I adding to new knowledge? I need to question that. So brainstorming is that. See, earlier days brainstorming is that two individuals come together. For example, you want to buy a car. You and your family members, you are just discussing. There are wide variety of cars in the market. We get this, we go for that, we go for Ertiga, we go for this, we go for Verna, we go for BMW, whatever. You can even write BMW. Then you come to a deal of budget. Can I do this? So when you're brainstorming, you're trying to see that you can have a certain concept of, I don't have access to a lot of other papers. I have access to these things which I am capable of doing it. For instance, people from computer science, if you are trying to collaborate with anyone, like for mechanical, civil, they can bring a problem and with your computer you can ask some certain thing and produce a new research statement. It doesn't need any papers, much papers from online, right? So you brainstorm a question. Finally, you are getting the question. Now, until this point, if you think, now you are saying something, but still we are not clear, but hold with me, I am going to come to a slide of where we can form a Now this is called as funnel effect. Trying to see a bigger perspective, narrow it down and come to a question. Okay. And for instance, when we are going for an OpenAI hands-on, I will be using this prompt. So I will also tell you how to use this prompt online, right? So first we have a question. So this is the example of how you can funnel down. Again, I'm taking an example, something specific to my domain. It can be anything for your domain. My general mapping is that I wanted to take a research on air pollution and health. Until one point, I was working much on air pollution measurement, what the pollutants are made up of, everything. I explored that in my PhD. But during my PhD itself, I was quite interested into health aspects of it. Why this is happening, why that is happening. Then after my PhD, after 29 I started working on health impacts. So, in my generalized mapping, what two things I am trying to see is air pollution and health. Now, air pollution is a constant factor for me. I want to see what air pollution has health impact. Then I will list down the number of health impacts, like cancer, pregnant women, maternal versus pregnant women, respiratory issues, cardiovascular, everything. Now we are seeing this particular list over here, right? Now out of this, people know air pollution can cause cancer. This is a well-known research area. Respiratory disease also everybody knows. Yeah, air pollution can cause some kind of infection. Air pollution can cause respiratory infection. But there are rest of the things in this particular list. Not much research. Like for instance, if any neurological disorders are air pollution, you will be surprised. Does air pollution cause neurological disorder? The answer is yes. It's not that air pollution is directly causing neurological disorder, but it can actually explain the disease to happen. Now, out of these topics, I'm trying to do a random Google search. Air pollution and cancer, air pollution and neurology, air pollution and this, air pollution and that, this. Earlier days, when I'm trying to do a research on Google, everything is a document or your lot of document. It can be PPT, document, PDF. It's a mix of everything, right? But these days, you have AI in front. So, when you're trying to combine things, you will try to know whether it has been researched well and less research and what you are actually interested in. I will always suggest it is always better to choose something you are interested in rather than choosing something you are not interested in. Why? Because research is not a rose of bed. It's not a bed of roses, but rather sometimes it's a frustrating journey. If you have a good mentor, it's very easy to do. But if you don't have a mentor, you're on your own. I took this research area which is new, so from scratch I had to read a lot, right? So when I took maternal health, there were a lot of terms I did not even know what it is. But I had to do a lot of Google search. So now I have taken maternal health. Now this is my bigger perspective. Got it? Generalized mapping. And then I am going to, now I will note down whatever comes to my mind. I am going to put how air pollution is affecting pregnant women, that is maternal health, health of pregnant women. Then, so if air pollution is affecting, see, whenever you listen to a talk of a foreigner who is talking, right, sometimes for me it comes to my mind that we complicate research a lot. You try to listen to the a talk of a foreigner, the research questions are really simple. Why this person is not able to achieve what it is? Then he will be, is it this, is it that? And then that's having an impact. Research is that, right? So here, I am taking how air pollution affects this pregnant women. Then, where are they exposed to air pollution? See, whenever you are talking about exposure to air pollution, there is concentration, I mean air pollutants are there in air. But that doesn't mean that I am breathing that air outside. The concentration which is measured is outside. But I am not being exposed, I am not working 24/7 outside, I am working 24/7 outside. That is not my exposure. So similarly, even when you take pregnant women or anybody, in that case, 2/3 of the time we spend inside house, only 8 hours you are in office, so there you might be exposed. Or if you are taking a woman who is unemployed, she is cooking, so what type of fuel she is using. So that is her exposure. Is he using a wood, or is she using a gas burner? Or is she by default living in Delhi or people? You know, Their place is very polluted. If my pregnant women, I have a group of pregnant women who are from Bangalore or Palmana, for instance, maybe what is their type of exposure? It can be very less compared to a person who is from Delhi, right? So where it is exactly happening? Then I wanted to know. So my research, I can also think that what exactly I want to do with this research. Do I want to create a solution for them? Or do I want to find the basic thing of the research? So the first two questions are basically basic for me. It's time to answer where are they exposed, how much is their exposure, that's it. But the last one is telling what type of pregnancy are they. Because if we try to know the answer of that particular question, the health or the government department, health department can help pregnant women to take actions which are called interventions. If they try to stop this, pregnant women won't be impacted. So now what government did? Like government is trying to cut down burning firewood because it's causing pollution. You try to get better solar or we are doing LPG cylinders. Correct? So that is an intervention. Agree? So you in the first place take a piece of paper and try to do this exercise on your own. This is also possible by AI. I'll show you how to do that in Google LLM. But in the first place, this particular map from a generalized question, I have come to narrowing my research question. Right? Here as well, if you ask me, ma'am, is this simple to narrow down a research question? The answer is no and yes at the same time. Why I am saying no? Because the branching of the research questions which has progressed here, right? It is not this simple at all. It can have too many questions. What kind? Is it first one? Is it second one? It is first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. Research says the first trimester is very crucial for pregnant women. So am I focusing on that? Because after that, whatever it is you do, it's useless for pregnant women. Okay? So this particular mapping, what I have done is an example because this is the thing what I can fit into this slide. But it doesn't matter. See, as I started this PPT, I know this is one of the less research areas in India, not abroad. In India, this is less research. When I took papers, there were only less than 10. When I started, I had only one paper. Maybe I took pregnant women and spontaneous abortion. Maybe other pregnant outcomes, if I would have taken, I would have got many, but very less when compared to other countries. So my mapping is very small. But if you are taking another something in electronics or something, maybe you can branch out. Right? So I narrowed down my question. I am really interested into actually where exposure is happening. So I am trying to define the exposure. So what is the exposure? Ambient means outside air, or the woman is getting affected by the air indoor, or it is also like household air pollution. Indoor air pollution is like office setting, any closed setting is indoor. Household air setting is like something they're using in house because of which they're getting affected. So I'm just trying to put. Now, here is where I have taken the formulation. I'm formulating my research question. What are the pregnancy outcomes associated with household air pollution? Out of this three, I'm saying there are too many research on this. Do I really want to do something new there? I don't want. So I have chosen household air pollution. I'm just giving you an example. So this generalization narrowing down to coming to your research question, I will also tell you why it is important. And this particular concept is called as mind mapping or concept mapping. How many of you are aware of this? Mind mapping or concept mapping? So even in your life, not necessarily for research, even in your life when you are really confused, you do not know what to do, take a piece of paper and start branching out. You will have two things. You will have two options. Either you are getting clarity or you will know that what you are doing is useless wastage of time. Throw the paper and get back to your work. Okay? So this mind mapping or concept mapping is both crucial in research and also your life. Right? So when we are you formulated your research question. Now, as I mentioned, you are going to speak the language which the search engine understands. Search engine can be Google, search engine can be any AI tool. Now I am only specifically talking about Google, okay, or anything, any search engine. So I have a research question. I got the research question. The research question is put right in front of your eyes. Now, when I started with generalizing a generalized research question, my research first I started with air pollution, right? So now I narrowed down my research question to the specific research question called what are pregnancy outcome associated with air pollution. The point is these are useless words. What are that doesn't, you don't want that. My keyword here is pregnancy outcome. Association or link, that also doesn't matter. Take that off. Household air pollution. So what I am trying to see? I am trying to see household air pollution and pregnancy outcome link. That's it. These are my keywords. Now, I want to get the meaning, other alternatives. So for instance, I am professionally called Priyadharshini, right? But I am also personally called Priya, Priyadharshini, Priya, anything. What? But I am the same person. So if they call me by name Priya, then also still I am coming. If they are calling me by some specific word, only my very closest friends know, I will only know. I am the same person. So what do you understand from this? It means that not every single author is going to use the same term what you are searching there. Agree? So you need to put different keywords in that particular place. So I am trying to list down this. Pregnancy outcome can be called as reproductive outcome, birth outcome, maternal outcome, maternal outcome. Now, in your mind, you can come, I don't have a thing. As I told, when I started this research, I didn't even know maternal name existed in the first place. I don't know. But still, I can go to a AI or Google and say, what are the other alternative terms for pregnancy outcome? It will give me. There are different pregnancy outcomes. Spontaneous abortion is there, low birth weight is there, live birth is there, which means the child being born there. These are all pregnancy outcomes. It can be searched like that also. You can give a general term or search things which is under that. So, are you clear till this point? Because this is very crucial when we are trying to do prompting and other things. So, are you clear? Yes. Fine. So, synonym broader and narrower. See, again, for both of these key terms, I have taken all this alternate name. Now, you have to be very careful. Why very careful? Because sometimes what happens, right? When you are trying to give a very specific term, it will bring lots of papers. Do we have such amount of time to look into all the papers? No. Okay. For here, now if I am going to give, see, household air pollution, when household wood is being burned, you have nitrogen. These are different pollutants which are coming from. When I try to put all these terms, right, this search engine sometimes can bring papers which are connected, which are having this pollutant name, but they would not have really worked on the research at all. So, this is actually an exercise for you to have broader terms which can bring in papers. See, you need to have a neutrality. What I am trying to say is, not put too much and bring a lot of papers, not put very specific terms and bring less papers. You need to have a mix of both these things so that you get all the papers required. So when you are specifically doing research, if you have written a systematic review, we also declare what kind of keywords we can use so that we got that. And we also declare the time. Until May 31st, 2024 or 2026, I searched this, I got this. Maybe in June you search, you got 5 papers extra than me. That is possible. But it is getting lesser than you, it means that either you are made mistake, the same keywords are there, right? So keywords, the crux is that keyword is the language which your search engine understands. And let it be Google, let it be any AI, this is very, very important. Okay? I am also going to teach you Boolean operators. People from computer science who are here, for you this is a code, this is very simple. But people from other departments, this is very important. Why and then. Now, I was talking about pregnancy outcome and household air pollution, right? If I want to link these two terms, I have given a different example here. But it's okay. I'll take climate change and cancer. Now I want to link both these things. Now what will happen is that these Boolean operators are certain things which is going to fetch you papers. If I am going to put climate change and cancer, it is going to go. Suppose this is the class. only that person from this group. Okay? So when I do climate change and cancer, I'm going to fetch me papers who have worked or in their documents where this term climate change and cancer is there. Now, nobody until this point asks where are these keywords. Are you thinking that in the background? She is talking about keywords, but which keyword she is talking, where she is talking. The point is, your keyword either can be title, the very title can say association between climate change and cancer. Then the search engine will go to the paper, come, we want you. Otherwise, the title is different, but in their abstract, because full paper the search engine it is restricted, it's a subscription based, right? This particular, when you put the keyword, it will go and search the abstract. In abstract, whether climate change and cancer, somewhere it is there, then also it will bring the paper. Finally, if you are all researchers, you very well know that you are supposed to give keywords, right? By which terms, if someone is searching what is keywords, because most of the authors they fail to understand what keywords are. Keywords are specifically how you want the search engine to be pulled from that particular group of things. So if I know that I'm specifically using a software which nobody is using, I can put the software as keyword. So anybody put the software name, my paper will come. It is because authors are not properly planning. Either you keep in the title or you exclusively write in your abstract or you put in the keyword. So this Boolean operators and not will work. It will go search the title, it will go search the abstract, it will go search the keyword. So these all happen via some certain databases which also I will show in the next slide. So understanding two things. If I am going to give or climate change and cancer, so I am telling the engine, see, you go and search a lot of documents. If the paper is on climate change, bring it. If the paper is on just cancer, bring that also. I am saying this or that. So here the option can be cats or dogs. You either bring cats or you either bring dogs. In the first place, it's cats and dogs. You bring me pictures where this also can work in normal Google image, anything, cats and dogs, then it will bring only cats and dogs. If I put cats or dogs, it will take picture, they can be together or they can be separate also. But now, your third option is very, very important. Why your third option is very important? Because both of these options is going to bring you a lot of papers. Too many papers. But when you are trying to specify and not, bring me only dogs and not cats. You are specifying the search and don't bring cats, I only want dogs. So your number of papers will be less. For instance, when I was working on pregnancy outcome, not many things are there. I only wanted air pollution and spontaneous abortion. So I want to put and not rest of the things, don't bring it at all. Because all those papers would have had a comment on pregnancy outcome. Because of that, those papers are also there in the group. So the last option is very, very good. In terms you specifically know what exactly you want. So at this point, I have covered the importance of keywords and how your keywords are connected and, or, and not. And there are also certain syntaxes like double quote. I will do a Google search for you, so you will understand what these keywords are. Now, I'm going to go in. I also remember one thing. If you are writing in caps, you are writing in small, it doesn't matter at all for Google. You write. Even if you are writing what is this dog, it doesn't matter what is dog and all. You take dog. For that, search in the dog is important. I'm going to do dogs and cats. So, see, earlier times, the so-called AI overview was never there. But right now, even before you go through all the things, your summary is over there. Now, earlier times, what used to happen is, here, at this particular point where it is showing Andhra Pradesh, right? There it used to show 0.03 seconds, 4 seconds, this many number of documents. Now I will tell you the magic of keywords. Now I put cat and dog, leave the business, but see here, cat and dog is here, cat was dogs, both the keywords are there, cat and dog is there, right? Now if I go to my images, okay, both are there, so my keyword is fine. So you understood the concept of and, right? Now if I go with or, it can be together also, it can be single also, okay? But if I go to documents, there can be documents of both the things or single also, it can be both. But if I specify here, so I want only dogs. Certain times this can be like confused, but in terms of scopus, if you are aware of scopus, I am not sure, this and or and not goes very, very well. So for instance, there are also certain things which is used in almost all the databases, this double quotes. If you know specifically spelling of a certain thing, then you can use a double quote. For instance, I am going to see, double quotes basically will cut off all the extra things. So the first very paper is mine. So it is air pollution, spontaneous abortion. Now this particular paper has come because of the very title that air pollution and spontaneous abortion, the keyword is there. Okay, spontaneous abortion, air pollution, right? Now, if I'm going to go other things, right now, I told you in terms of this paper, in title also this is there. Inside the paper somewhere both these things are mentioned. That's why this paper has come. Anytime you are going to do a search, for example, if you are asking the same search I am going to do it from vendor and the same search you are doing from here, are results same? The results are not same. You know why? Leave research. You are trying to find out certain things, very generic things in Google. You are trying to do the research from here versus here. It's going to be different. Why it is going to be different? Because the search engine, based on the location of the users, it is going to give you the documents forward. In terms of research, it should not change much. But if you are taking some generic type of searches like what are the best healthy foods, for you curated to this particular place, the documents will be there. If I am going to search it, then it's going to be like different. So based on your keywords, based on the usage, double quotes are very, very good. Okay? Then I am going to give you another option. Now inside this double quotes itself, I am going to use a particular symbol, this asterisk symbol. Why? Because until this point, I am only trying to connect air pollution with spontaneous abortion. But what if I put a star? If I put a star, the star means combination. It can be air pollutants spelling as 1N. Modeling in UK spelling as 2S. So when you put in double quotes with double S, you will just table it up from UK. In that case, what you can do is, after MODEL, you can put a star. So it will take all the combinations of whichever word is existing. So until this point, what I try to say is, using your keywords, you remember double quotes, you remember asterisk. There is also curly bracket, but curly bracket doesn't work here. In focus about curly bracket can work. So for instance, let me assume that I know a specific, okay. Now let me use so air mode is a software which is specifically used in environmental engineering for detection of air pollution, where it goes, okay? If you know specific term or something, you can use curly brackets. So this curly brackets, double quote and everything, it is specifically useful for cutting down from lots of research to cutting down what exactly you want. But if you are a normal researcher, then you can just use random thing. Otherwise, you can use stars, you can use double quotes. Okay, specifically for faculty, there are certain search things which also I will tell. See, these things are just writing PDF will bring you every single thing. For instance, okay, you want to make a PPT, right? You don't have time, something like that. So, mention what type of file you want to send. It's only going to give you PDF. Can you see everything is PDF? PDF, 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 PDF. Now wait. Now what happened? Now you're going for a talk, you don't have time. Or I want to take do a talk with you or I don't have time. But I need to know, I need some presentation, I need some model, and I go to PPT something. So you got how keyword works. You need to talk the language what the engine understands. You just can't write anything random. When you write random, it's not that you won't get results, you will get results. But that is not efficient way of searching. Okay? So let me get back to the presentation. So these are Boolean operators which you can use. So these are bibliomatic databases. Research. Scopus, WebOps, and Google Scholar and PubMed. Of course, I know these two are subscription. It's not openly available to everybody. But if you take Google Scholar and PubMed, it is available to every single person. So this Google Scholar keywords, what I have told you right now, can be useful in Google Scholar also, PubMed also. So all the engineering papers are available both on Scopus and Web of Science. Google has the problem with Google when compared to this databases. PubMed has mostly papers which are by medical Google Scholar. That is problematic. You know why? Because let me assume my PhD thesis is there. As a person, I can actually, if you see my profile, there will be conference abstracts also. That may not be a full paper. Duplication of the results also will be there. Multiple things will be there. So Google Scholar may not be a great. If you have this database, it's fine. If not, worst case scenario is Google Scholar. But still, I would prefer Google Scholar because Google Scholar brings loads and loads of documents. But for today onwards, I hope if you are using this operator and or and not, you'll be getting better results. Okay. So now we want to search or discovery in the sense like I want to search papers which are relevant to my research and I want to summarize all the papers. See, nobody here has time after a certain point of time either our physical health nor our memory is great that we can sit and do all those summaries. You have a lot of punishments in life. So AI is very easy for you to summarize all the papers. For instance, see, sometimes there are people who tend to ask helpers, can you download this paper and you try to seek it. You have all the PDF which is relevant for your research, but you don't have time to read. Can AI summarize for you? Yes, the answer is yes. Can you ask questions to AI? The answer is yes. So I'm just showing different tools before I skip to the actual AI part. How many of you know PDF summarizer? How many of you used here? Anybody in the class? PDF summarizer? Okay. Okay. Open access tool. This is called as a PDF summarizer. I will open this. I'm going to choose a file. So see, I've created a lot of things. Let me go with okay, I'm going to take this specific paper which is here. The PDF is loaded. Okay. It's with the help of AI, we are going to do this PDF summary. The PDF came over here. Trust me, it's not only research paper, you can use any of the material which is there. Some professor has made a PPT out there in online, okay? Now you don't know anything from class, but in next 10 minutes you are supposed to go to class. Upload this PDF. I'm just maximizing this for you. What is this given over here? What is this which is here? You got a summary of the PDF? Not only it's a reading the paper, okay? Now, I asked a specific question from the PDF. It not only summarizes the PDF, answers that, and also tells it which page that specific answer is there. So, if I am a person, human, when I don't know how time, okay, I don't have any other choice, I can believe AI. Otherwise, I can go and check. Administrative management, is that there on page 5? See, did it highlight also? How cool is this one? Very nice, right? Suppose you have 40-page document, very good. Who reads 40-page document nowadays? To find out a certain thing. You know what keyword you are searching in the document? Upload that. Okay. The key point taken from the first session is that don't upload private documents, okay? I'm talking in terms of your teaching, you want to upload something. So do you want to do that? Can you open PDF summarizer if you have some PDF? Download some random PDF from Google. Can you open your computers, go to PDF summarizer, type PDF summarizer in Google. In another tab, open a random PDF, try to put this now. So that, because talking and hearing doesn't work. It's smallpdf.com. See, you can use any PDF summarizer. It works the same way. It doesn't mean that you have to use small PDF summarizer only. Because I used it because since I used it earlier, it came as well. Okay. You can download any random PDF at this point and try and do it. People who are identified and going, go to PDF summarizer. Choose file. So I'm going to take a random PDF. Upload it. And then you are ready to start. Last lecture I think they are completed. We are going to the next part, okay? So, at this point, I also want to be clear. Since we are doing it free of cost, right? At a time, after in a single day, if you are using too many documents, right? I showed you only uploading one document. You can upload multiple documents also. But since we are using it free, after a certain point, you won't need it. But it's okay. Use another video somewhere. That's it. See, your multiple tools there. You can use any of the tools. Okay. So one thing, what I can suggest is that I have multiple Google accounts. So I use a dummy Google account to go into other sites. You know why?
Subscriptions.
You know why I'm using a dummy Google account to go into all the sites? There can be a security risk. Because when you are giving access, see at this point all our data is online. But when you are trying to go via Google, right, you are giving access to your personal folders, personal emails, everything. See, I know the private stuff or something like that, okay? But still, I don't want a lot of advertisements and things. So I always have a dummy email of which I use. I don't use my official email account for most of the things. So I have a dummy email, 2-3 email accounts you can create and have. Whenever one email account open ChatGPT, threshold exhaust is another one. That's the thing. No, no, okay, can we go to the next one, guys? Yes? Okay. So at this point, when I'm talking, I don't want you to be talking. It's not that I am not happy that you're talking. The only point is I'm not really good, so I can exert a lot of energy. Okay? I'm putting a lot of effort to stand here and talk. So I want you to be quiet a bit. Otherwise, I have 2.5 sessions to go, right? So yeah. So when we are talking about research, there are certain research things which are there, like volume, click mass. So what this will do is that it will take, at this point I have showed one PDF, it will collect all the PDFs and it will try to categorize the PDF. I told you right, when we are trying to narrow down the research question, how will you categorize this? These people are done on this, these people are done on this. A human mind and human time, it's time consuming and also you have to be really disciplined to sit and do all those things. But I'm showing so okay. So these are litmaps and Boria, both of which is free until a point. I already have a particular topic, simply a particular topic of evolution and interest. I am going to search. When I search, it's going to give me a list of documents. I can keep the PDF of my PPT here with you all. So please try to solve all these things and everything. I will keep it your coordinator.
Subject like helping.
So at this point, when I have put a topic and I chose a paper, it is showing how that particular paper is connected to the rest of the papers or rest of the authors. So I can choose any of the papers.
PDF means
This
document
particular
paper.
paper is a standalone paper. You know what it means? Do you know why the Sun 2021 is isolated? Any idea why it's isolated?
It is not referred.
He is not referred by any of the person. He has done a research but he is not cited. All these people are connected to each other because they are either cited each other. This paper is referred to that paper. And when you see this cluster, right? For instance, all these 3 papers are connected to. I have taken a particular document 1. It is showing how everybody are connected to WOM because WOM is 2021 and you check rest of the paper 10, 12, 14, 2014. Can you tell me who has cited?
Yes, sir.
WOM has cited rest of the paper. You got it? So these kind of connections in research are helpful to understand what is the orientation of your research. Who is the, see, for instance, there can be a lot of big shots in your research area, right? In science, at least citation marks a deal that researcher is really, really good. He has done a good work. Not like he has done some research which is not good. It's been tested by others also, it stands true, right? So, when you are trying to do this kind of connections, it will try to tell you who is the big shot in your research, how is it connected to everybody. There are also other software tools, but that is not the focus of my talk here, which is called as bibliometric analysis, which makes visualization of the keywords, of the authors, of the countries. From that you will get to know who is working like in groups for these research. So it can work in 3 different aspects. Sir, I want you not to turn the class because as I've already told you, I'm exerting a lot of energy chemistry, so I want you to keep quiet, right? So the point here is that when you're trying to see this bibliometric visualization, as a researcher, you will get to know who are big shots in your research. As a faculty, you can get to know whom you can collaborate within India, outside of India. As a person who has completed PhD, one can decide where the person can go to postdoc. Like which are the countries who are doing really good research and stuff. We are showing you an example. This is my review paper. So here I have done bibliometric analysis. Whatever I was trying to tell you, I will try to show the pictures. Okay, you try to download the data. So this is the map. Now I try to download. Let's say this study was done using 45 number of studies. So I collected the keywords of all the keywords which is there in this 45 papers, and I tried to put a map how these keywords are connected. Then I will try to do the initial analysis of this. I will get to know in my research area what is the keyword which is often used. So here also you can say, see, air pollution and miscarriage, air pollution and spontaneous abortion. The bigger the line, these keywords are most often used in the research. And same color clusters, they are a similar type of word. They are all working on air pollution and spontaneous abortion, but under different things. For instance, here it's written genital staff, which means there is a study to try to see how spontaneous abortion happens to nurses who are exposed to nitrogen dioxide. That is different. And there is some other keyword in the particular paper called as biomarker. Chinese are using biomarkers, which means they are taking some blood sample or something. That's a different kind of study. So this also sees, same narrowed down specific research question, but in different contexts. Keywords. So if you don't know how to use your keywords, see what kind of keywords are used in paper. See, when I started teaching you keywords in the first place, you are not wondering, okay, I can use AI for keyword generation, but the best thing to do is go to a paper. In that paper, the author would have told the keywords, mentioned 45 studies, which is showing where all this research area is being done across the country. So if I'm a PhD student, if I want to go for a postdoc, I know where I have to go. US is a place where a number of people have done this kind of research. How this map is plotted? This map is plotted based on the affiliation of the author. So bibliometric analysis is a kind of study where it is pulling down information which we are producing, right? Title after title about author. This author belongs to DIT, the other author belongs to US, another author belongs to Germany. So it is going and tagging accordingly. Okay? Not only keywords, you also have other things. So your keyword go and open the paper to understand whether the paper is relevant to you or not. If the paper is relevant, next stage is to ask what methodology this person has used in this paper. What did he use? How did he use? Did he follow this method or did he follow B method? Then, see, when you quantify papers, right? Usually in research we quantify. In MBA kind of social studies, people use qualitative analysis. It's like yes or no and maybe kind. But in kind of engineering, I took 45 papers. Out of 45 papers, I want to know how many people choose method A, how many people use method B, how many people use method C, right? So when I can upload the PDF summarizer and other thing, I can ask like what method is used, how did he do? Then I can put 10 people use this method, 5 people use this method, 4 people use that method. Then, if you are using a method which people have used very well, but it's also novelty, you are not following something new, or you are trying to add addition, right? So that is the second thing. Compare multiple studies. See, first thing what I told is to get a summary to understand whether the paper is relevant to you or not. Second thing, to compare the methodologies. Third thing, after choosing paper of a similar methodology, you are trying to put that into AI and trying to ask to AI, have you all reported same kind of results, yes or no? Have all these authors said similar thing or they have said a different thing? That was in the AI. Are you all clear up to this point? So that is how AI can be useful. You can use any, you can use OpenAI, Google, level, too many things are there, but the only point is since we are using free things, you will be restricted. But use a different account, have multiple accounts. Okay? So now note taking is there. Now, whenever I do a research, I will do this hands-on with you right now in 3 different platforms. Now, let me assume I have 45 papers. You must have seen in the paper I have a big tabular column, right? At that particular point of time when I am writing the paper, ChatGPT is not there. Or ChatGPT is very new, 2022, I have been experimenting with that. But whenever you are taking a research, this tabulation format is the best way to have a personal notes. What I am trying to say is, you have the author information, what is the research focus, what method they have used, what key findings they have given, what limitations they have told. Okay, can I put you a question here? What is the use of seeing limitations? Why we need to see findings is okay, till now it's okay, everybody understands. But what is the point of wanting to check with the limitations? Can anyone say what is the point of seeing limitations?
Find the research gap.
Research gap is basically hidden in the limitation. One of the author has said that this is the limitation. I was unable to execute. For instance, when I was working on, I got a review paper, right? I got an air pollution and spontaneous emission. Some people have already taken 20 women. But the results, they will be writing in caution. Maybe if I would have done for a larger sample, the results might have been different. So maybe I have a research gap that, see, I have the funding, I have the facility, I can do it for a larger group, right? So that limitation is a gem for you to find a research gap. Now, the super deal is that you have a format that is for yourself based on your research, whatever you are taking. Because in my case, I come from environmental different, hobby is different. For you, instead of key findings, you can also use methodology used. Method is already there, but anything AI model used. Let's assume you are from CSE, right? Instead of methodology, you can put something like AI model used. What is the RMSE value? What is the R square value? Something like that. So this table is subjected to nature. Once you have this table, actually you can prompt to OpenAI to do this tabular format for you. I'll teach you that. But before that, whenever we are doing a prompting, we want to follow a specific order. You know why what you are writing on OpenAI and what students writing on OpenAI is not very efficient? You know why? Because you are talking in the language which mission is understanding, but not the efficient language. I might try to talk in Telugu. You might try to understand, but not exactly what I'm talking because I'm not a native speaker of Telugu. I can understand multiple languages, but I'm proficient in three, though I can understand seven. Getting my point? So whenever you are giving a task, listen very, very carefully. Role. You have to assign a role, a task, an action. What that means? Remember this RTA. So what is this RTA is that? Now what are we trying to do over here? The tabular column, correct? So what is the role you are asking AI to take itself? AI is actually a model. See, same question in a non-open AI and someone who is having a pro level, right? If they are going to do, I will get better results. You know why? Because AI is actually a machine. I have trained the machine such a way that it already knows what exactly I want. This particular female is very boring. She has not generated any images. She has not generated any music. She is only asking about research. So the AI knows that this female is intending to ask. And AI has a memory. See, yesterday I was making this PPT. To be very frank, yes, with the help of AI. But to have a humanized touch, which is mine, right? So I'm trying to ask, no, I want this. Try to do this. Now, here the role, what I want the AI to take is the researcher. Assume yourself as a researcher. What is the task I'm giving? Please go through the uploaded PDF and give me the tabular format where I have uploaded the Excel as well. Are you all clear with it? Role, task, action. Now, I have given 3 types of OpenAI tools which you can use: ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Node LLM. So, how many of you are familiar with these databases? Okay, let's do a poll. ChatGPT, please raise your hands. Most of them. Perplexity. Most reviews. Google Node LLM. Not mine. Okay. If you are working for research as a person, until one point you use AI massively, I would suggest you to go for Perplexity. Do you know why?
Hallucination is better.
Someone said an answer, but I don't know who said that.
Maximum hallucination is reduced.
Maximum?
Hallucination.
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 Assumptions will reduce.
Assumption.
Okay, assumptions. Now you need to understand that all these models are giving you results. First, you need to understand what that model is. When you go into any of this particular platform, there are something drop-down list. If you are a subscription mode, you can use the best model. Otherwise, there are different formats. What model? Fast thinking, deep thinking. Fast thinking, the AI doesn't think much at all. It gives you answers. It may or may not be accurate. And it is based on that particular model's training at that particular point of time. All these models are fetching information from Google. Right? Does Google have all only articles only? Anything and everything. So at Google, for instance, if I can create a website in some random URL, I can post anything I want. Suppose if I am giving a certain keywords which are there in my URL also will get fetched. And it is going to give you compelling answer of yes, this is what it do. So if you are using for research purposes, not coding, I am talking about research summarization and other things. You can use AI if you have the PDFs, but if you don't have the PDFs, you are going for initial search, please stick with Perplexity, not Google LLM also. First choice is Perplexity, second choice is Google LLM, third is ChatGPT. So I'm going to go into, let's go with Perplexity first.
Can you justify once again?
Gemini is also same. See the answers what I did in Gemini and Google LLM are same. They both are Googles. But the only point between Gemini, I'll go through the models, you'll understand it, okay? First I'll go to complexity. Can you have over complexity around? I'm going to go through some basic information. This is the search box. This is the search box model you can search. And this is the model. Can you see the number of models? Perplexity. Google wanted to offer perplexity. The greatness is one of the co-founders of this perplexity is an Indian. What a PhD from Berkeley. Right? Now, it's using Sona, Gemini 3, Gemini Pro, GPT 5.2. Every time there is an update, this model changes. I'm going to leave it default, no problem. Can you see how many people have used this information here? At the rate of them, at the rate of academic, at the rate of social. Perplexity's greatness comes from here. If you are searching for research, please go to academic, not web. Okay? Now, I want to make a patent. Okay? I'm going to go make a patent. So I'm going to search okay. Okay, I'm going to take a random topic. I use a keyword. I think I'll go web also because patent can be anywhere. So I'm choosing everything, whatever has all these keywords, please go ahead. So it has come across 10 sources. Please note that it has gone through 10 sources and it is giving me some summary, right? Now, what I'm going to ask is, I hope you can see, otherwise I'm kind of zoom in. So what I'm given here is, I said, assume yourself as a researcher. I assigned a role. I told tablet this patents, like tablet format I want. In the order of their invention year. So it's tabulated. So usually I'm a person who has, I should say, a bit of patience to read paragraphs. Even in classrooms, if you're trying to give it paragraphs, right, it's very difficult for people to read. So tabulation works very better, very organized and systematic way of seeing things. So now what it has given is, I did not even say what this column headers are. Do you know how these column headers came over here? Because already I have done number of searches like this. So my model already is saying that this girl always wants this. This is the order. Suppose if I want something in this tabular format, I can add I told if only it is existing, add it. So did it have the limitation? See, not in the very first time you are going to get great answers. You are supposed to say in the beginning of the presentation when I started, you should be willing to learn. You are supposed to type and type and type. So, as a person, task, role, action. Now, I am not a prompt engineer. I don't know how to do it. Now, I am going to ask Perplexity itself. I have written, can you give me a prompt to achieve this task in an efficient way? Okay? So whenever you are using for your research or whenever you are using for any of your class activity, do multiple iterations, okay? So, did you see how it has changed the prompt? You are an expert research assistant helping me analyze patents on cloud management using sensors. Task, identify the patent family and extract for each patent this thing. Sort all the patents strictly by earliest filing date because you know what task to do, right? So I did that, it gave me an answer and I'm asking the ChatGPT that you tell me how am I supposed to do it. So for any of the tasks, if you are trying to ask prompts to AI itself, when you know that constantly you are trying to do similar kind of task, keep the task in a word form. That will be useful forever. You got my point? So this can be useful forever. So the point being, you cannot get in the first prompt itself what you want. Do multiple prompts. As a human, give your judgment to analyze. Is this what I wanted? Did the machine do what I exactly wanted? If yes, at that point, you kind of ask that AI, you just give me a prompt, how I would have done better. Say the prompt. How easy is this one, guys? Don't have to think too much. You ask. So now Perplexity, coming back not only to patents, even research papers you can still do it here. OpenAI also works the same way. I'm going to go over here. Okay. I'm going to do a quick over here. So I don't know whether the ChatGPT can go through all this particular patents, but I'm going to paste the prompt of I'm pasting the prompt from Perplexity. Let's see. See, at times what I used to do is I have played with multiple AI models and I've chosen certain things for certain tasks. For instance, all these AI platforms can really code, the codes are more or the same, it's not much different. Copilot by Microsoft is not that great for this kind of activity, but Perplexity is very good. OpenAI is also fine. Google LLM, I'll tell you what is the advantage of Google LLM. I pasted the last line of section and excluded that, but that's okay. Now I have taken a prompt from one of the AI models. I've given it to another model. The search is going on. Now, when you are trying to do it in two different models, I think it not go through a lot of things. It has given only partial analysis because it did not have access to a lot of these things. Okay? So the crux of this thing is assign a role, give a task, and then you tell what you exactly want. As a teacher, for instance, if you want, see, assume yourself as a teacher. If you put teacher, now you can be a school teacher, UG teacher, PG teacher, PhD teacher. AI won't know. Tell it exactly what you want. Assume yourself as a UG teacher who is teaching undergrad third year CSE students. Find out list of topics that are relevant, which I can give to students, provided the limitations. I have this limitation, you give it to them. It is going to give you the list of topics. From those list of topics, Again, if you feel that it will not give you very great answers because at this point you have not trained your model, you should say that no, I don't think what you have given is correct. You try to, actually AI is like a child. In my case, my child is actually grown because for a very long time I've been training my model. So whatever I'm giving it knows she wants this, she wants in this particular format, she doesn't accept this format. Until that point is reached, you are not going to get efficient answers. You might get some random answers. You got my point? Just remember this. Task, role, action. Okay? So you can use AI now. So perplexity done, OpenAI done. I'm going to teach you Google LLM. The beauty of Google LLM, you know what? Okay, this is a Google Notebook LLM. It looks like this. Actually, you are supposed to create an account. Okay? Google Note LLM. You can access via your Google account. Then there will be a particular icon like this saying create a new notebook. Please stop typing in your particular computer and look at the screen because this is going to be really helpful. Not for research but for class. Now, there is a search box like this. Can anyone give me a topic? I want to search on that rather than me having a topic on it. Can you tell me, suggest a topic please?
Quantum computing.
Huh?
Quantum computing.
Quantum.
Quantum computing.
See now, what is the beauty of Google LLM over Gemini is that in Gemini, at a time you can't give a lot of exercise. You can give, but Google LLM you can give YouTube links, you can give website links, you can upload PDF. Not only that, Gemini, do you know Gemini? Does Gemini give PPT to you?
No.
Does that give PPT to you? It can give you PPT content, but not PPT. OpenAI can give you PPT. Perplexity can also give you a PPT, but not Gemini, right? If you want research, convert this into deep search. But deep search, since it will be taking time, I am not going for that option. I am going to go for fast search. I am not having material on quantum computing from. If you want, you can upload files. If some PDF is there, you can upload, or you can give YouTube videos, or if you have something saved in your drive, you can give, or you can copy paste text also. These are different options which actually standards this one. Since I don't have any of these things, I am asking Google LLM to fetch from the website. Okay. So it's searching the website. So the beauty of Google LLM is in this panel of the Google LLM. Because we can extract data table, we can make a slide deck, but slide deck is limited. In a day, if you are trying to make lots, it's not going to happen. But once in a while, if you are trying to make, it's going to give you a beautiful slide deck. Based on the sources, what you have, reports, quiz, flashcards, podcasts. Not only a podcast on the topic which is there, you can also record your voice and you can be one of the speakers in your podcast. That Google LLM can do it for you. Okay. So here I am only speaking with slide deck. Now you have some 7 sources. I am going to import all the 7 sources. Now, just like your PDF summarizer, even in your Google LLM, there are suggested questions, and also you can ask questions in this sources what is listed over here. But for instance, you have all the materials what is required for your class, some basic arithmetic, everything is there, but you don't have time to make PPT, right? Upload all the PDFs to Google LLM. Best of materials. See, as a teacher, one of the biggest challenges what I come across is giving the best content to my students. Sometimes I get really confused because in the recent times, I've been confused because there are multiple AIs, right? AI perceptions are different. I do this with this AI, and then for me, next AI gets much better. I'm trying to replace text. But in the first place, if you're clear with what kind of content you want to give to your students, and you already have best reference method, then Google LLM is great. upload all the materials. Actually, you can title your notebook, okay? Once you title your notebook, you can always come and refer what title, otherwise it stays like that, right? So you have 3 questions which are here. If you want, you can go through the questions. Otherwise, you can also type your questions. So I'm going to ask a question from, so based on caution here is, it's giving you answer based on the 9 sources. Not everything. But you have the best of sources. Like for research, if you have like 20 documents, which is for your research, upload all the research material and you can ask questions. So I was taking about this keyword search, right? That mind mapping you can do over here. Wait a minute, I'm going to generate a mind map. So people who are really behind, you won't be able to see, but if you're able to see currently, it generated a mind map over here. Can you see it generated, okay? See, I just put a word quantum computing. I'm not into quantum computing, so I'm not a person to talk about it. So when I put quantum computing, everything relevant to that, from that 9 sources, this is not the entirety, please note it. But if you give your required PDFs to it, this mind mapping will be much better to find out the research here. You go over here, you can click. Now can you see the mind mapping here? See? It ends here. So you can click. So what I showed in PPT can be done easily over. See, there are also softwares for that, but this is based on your own things. You can find it. For instance, if I want to, read about a certain topic, you click there. It will take you back to the chat. You read until you are clear with the topic. Now, fine, I don't have time at all, right? I am not here for my class. My class is there somewhere where I want to do a lot of research, but I don't have any time for that. So I want to infographic. See, there are learners in your class. You need to identify your learners. For example, I am a visual learner. During my college as well, rather than reading a lot of text, I used to draw pictures. So if I remember the picture, I can write it here. I am that kind of a person. So I am a visual learner. So for me, this infographic is the best way to see the whole thing as a picture. See, instead of putting theory, if I put a picture, it's interesting for people to see. It's colorful, it's engaging, right? So it's generating an infographic. Meanwhile, I'm also creating a slide deck. Slide deck can take a bit of a time. And the slide is only in PDF, not in PPT version. But yes, if you use Canva, you can convert that PDF to PPT. That is also there. There are a lot of ways of which you can use to do the bookmark, but maybe you don't have to do that. Please note that when I was doing this presentation, I was giving credit to AI as well, because of course I've used a lot of AI to make my presentation. I'm an expert in this keyword searching and all this, but not in certain aspects of this particular program. So I give credit to AI. So AI was asking what prompt exactly you use to get this. You can actually credit it in reference that I use this prompt. And I was like, I use a hell lot of prompts, which one I use. So I give a common thing that I have credit to almost all the AIs I've used for preparation of presentation. So from here, you are going to get both infographic and also both slide deck. But the catch over here is the PPT produced by Google LLM doesn't have speaker notes. How many of you know what speaker notes are? You know what speaker notes are? Are you aware or you're not aware? Okay. So this is my PPT. I don't have any notes over here, right? Sometimes I belong to a category of natural speaker. I don't prepare, I'm spontaneous. But certain people, they can stick with time very particularly, so they want to write the points what they want to talk. That you can type it here. Suppose if I am speaking online, right? See, some people can have a very good memory, they can't see. But certain times, what happens is that, just a minute, there is a mode called as presenter mode. That's Alt F5. When I press, so when I go to presenter mode, my slide comes like this. I will see the present slide. I will see what is the next slide. And the present slide, what I want to talk will be here. Actually, this is only visible to me. It's not visible to the audience. Audience will only see this slide. So whenever you give an online talk, this is very, very useful. So this concept note, why I came to the idea of concept note is that I am asking ChatGPT to prepare me a presentation, right? Based on certain sources. By now I have told you how to upload sources. Even since you all know ChatGPT, you know how to upload a PDF. You write, make a presentation. I want to give this presentation for an undergraduate student. Titled, this, assume yourself as a faculty, make PPT 10 to 12 slides with speaker notes. It will also tell you what to talk. Because AI, when it is making your presentation, it's only going to give bullet points. But if you are not a subject expert, you don't know what to talk, what will you talk. There will be speaker notes, it will tell you to go and talk. Okay? So that's another trick what you can do. So again, data collection and analysis. So people who are from computer science, people who do not know how to code, you can use any part of this to write your code. Since I've already shown you ChatGPT, Copilot, I'm not going. Copilot is, according to me, Copilot is very good for writing codes. It's by Microsoft. But I'm going to introduce a new tool called as Claude. How many of you have used Claude yet? One person in this class? Okay. Claude AI is good. Then you have less of research. Because it does not, unlike OpenAI, it doesn't entertain you for a lot of things, it will stop you there. But the content is good. Now, what can I ask? Can anyone from